Right, I've got my bag, camera goodies. We're going to go find some shots. Today I want to talk about ads, and I want to talk about what to do when everything goes wrong. So let's get into it. She will call me when she's run out of young men. Come out to local park, try and find some interesting stuff to show you, and I think we've reached our first place. Oh yeah, nice bridge. I'm going to go set up the fancy camera, get a couple of shots. You'll have probably seen them in the intro, but this is a bit of a behind the scenes episode, so you can kind of see what goes on to make these videos. So let's head on over. Right, so while this is filming, let's talk about some author stuff. So today I want to talk a bit about advertising, and this is all ahead of a live workshop that I've got coming up very, very soon. If you'd like to join us for that, just click the link in the description. During the workshop we're going to be going into a lot of detail with some screenshots and some stats and statistics, but today I want to talk about some of the principles behind successful advertising, because like any kind of marketing activity, advertising by itself doesn't work. There's lots of other things you have to have in place to build this kind of machine that's going to work together to actually get you the results that you need. So advertising is a very important part of that, and today I want to have a look at where that falls and how you can make the most of it. So let's jump in. I think we're done with this. There we go. So advertising then, as we've talked about before, is not the be-all and end-all of marketing. It's a way of getting traffic, so eyeballs to your books, to your website, and that's about it. That's all an ad can do, is get someone to pay attention. But as we talked about in the previous videos, there's other steps involved before someone's actually going to buy something. There's just something about England and winter. It's just so bleak. I love it. Oh, this looks pretty cool. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this. I think that's going to be a good shot. Right, let's go. I keep finding good places to shoot, so I'm just going to keep the big camera here instead of having to get it out of my bag every single time. So we were talking about ads. So with most of the magic and most of the sales happening after the ad has already done its job, what can we do to make sure that our ads get the most traffic for the best price? So that's the important question. Is you can get as much traffic as you want to anywhere you want if you have enough money. It's making that traffic convert and give you a positive ROI that's the challenge. So that's what we're going to look at today. This is probably a better one. Let's try here. Alright, let's see if we can set up something over here. Right, while that does its thing, I want to talk a bit about measuring your ads. So you want to be able to find out if your ads are performing as well as they need to be, and there's a few baselines for this. So with Amazon ads, which is where I really want to focus, because this is where people struggle the most, is difference between Amazon ads and Facebook ads is with Amazon you've got a lot of other stuff going on at the same time, lots of other ads on the page, which means that you actually getting clicks is a lot more difficult. So apparently where I was just sat then is bird watching platform, and I was disturbing birds, so I've moved on. Let's find somewhere to go and talk about the rest. Right, we'll just let that do its thing. We'll talk some more about ads. So lots and lots of competition on Amazon. You go to any Amazon page, you're going to see a dozen, 24 different ads for different things. There's a lot of competition. Unlike Facebook, where each ad gets its own spot in the news feed, there's a couple of like sidebar ads. Generally speaking, there's a lot less clutter. So on Amazon, you're competing with a lot more people for those clicks, and it's important to have those baseline rates so that you know if you're doing a good job. So let's talk about those. So with any ads, you're looking at click-through rate, which is the percentage of people who saw the ad who clicked on it, and then the conversion rate. These are the two most important things, the conversion rate being how many people clicked and then bought something. So the higher your click-through rate and the higher your conversion rate, the more money you're going to make, the higher your return, and in some cases, the cheaper your clicks are going to be in the first place. Because Amazon knows if your ad is effective and it's getting sales through, it's going to reward that in most cases. And this is the same as any other ad platform, Facebook ads as well. You know, the better your ad is and the higher the click-through rate, the more likely it is that Facebook's going to want to show it to people and the cheaper it's going to be for you. So it's a similar principle on Amazon. The better you can get that click-through rate and conversion rate, the better all round for everyone. So you're looking at around 0.1% click-through rate, which is 1 in 1,000. And then if you're getting somewhere between 5 and 10%, then that's generally considered a solid conversion rate, depending on your pricing. The lower your pricing, the higher the conversion rate. But the main thing to remember is it's very difficult to make a profit on the first book. Meaning you're sending traffic to a book on Amazon, let's say the first book in your series or one particular book in your catalogue, very difficult to make a return on that particular book. The money comes later. Usually the first book is sold at a loss when it comes to advertising, and the people who are doing really well at ads know this, and they've optimized their catalog for read-through, or they've created, in other words, an ads funnel. So a path that readers will follow after clicking on that ad that's going to lead to the maximum amount of revenue and profit. And this is related to the stuff we talked about in my previous video, but now we're going to apply it to ads. So how do we do that? Right, I think we're done. Let's move on. I'm stuck. So the answer to that is similar to some of the stuff we've covered already, and that is really optimizing your book page. So wherever you're sending people from your ad, which is usually going to be your book page, usually the first in a series or the first book chronologically of your catalogue, you have to think about how well that's going to convert, and that means looking at the cover, looking at the description, and looking at all the other stuff on the sales page that's going to either attract someone to buy it or distract them from buying it and clicking someone else's ad. So I'll link those videos underneath where we talk about that in a lot more detail, but really this is the first step. So getting the ad to work is a combination of getting that click-through rate and that conversion rate high, and part of the way we do that is with our book page, but then making the money back is all about read-through and all about what we do after the sale and after the click to maximize our revenue, because chances are people aren't going to buy the first time we click. So what can we do about that? So running a successful ads campaign is going to involve a few steps, and some of which are going to happen before the ad starts running, some happen during the ad, and some happen after someone's clicked on the ad and then after they've bought something or after they've seen something. So how do we maximize the flow from the moment you start building the ad and creating it behind the scenes to the point where people are seeing it, clicking on it, you're paying attention to the metrics and adjusting as you go, and then maximizing what happens after someone clicks and after someone buys. So there's sort of a before and after thing going on that we have to look at. Thankfully, Amazon ads have come a long way in the last couple of years, and we now have a lot more control over who we're targeting on Amazon and then what happens afterwards. So let's take a closer look at that. So we definitely have a few things to consider when it comes to actually setting up the ad in the first place. So there's a few different options, a few different functions that we can choose, different targeting options, and different keyword search options, and a fair amount of customization that can go into actually creating the ad before it even goes out. So this is where successful ads start, is in the planning phase. So that's probably the most important thing you can do before you start running any ads at all, is have a think about who it is you're trying to target on Amazon and what kind of ad you want to run. So we can run ads to the lock screen, which is for people who have Kindle devices. When they go on standby, in some cases they'll display an ad, and we also have sponsored keywords as well, and we can also target people by their search terms as well. So if someone types in supernatural thriller with elephants or whatever, and your book is about supernatural thrillers with elephants and you've optimized it for that keyword phrase, then your book is going to pop up. And this is where we want to really make sure we're targeting the right keywords. And thankfully, unlike with organic search, where we can't really tell which keywords are working the best, with paid search, with paid ads on Amazon for the search bar terms, we can have a look at each keyword individually in our ads dashboard, see which ones are performing, see which ones are giving us the cheapest clicks, and see which ones are giving us the most conversion. So in other words, which are the best keywords. So again, when we talk about stats, what we really want to do is get meaningful data, and I've found that if you can get sort of 50,000 or so impressions for a particular experiment with your ads, then you can generally rely on the data for your book. So I wouldn't go making sweeping generalizations about it, but if you've had 50,000 impressions and you've got a good click-through rate, you can probably assume that that kind of ad is going to do well for you. And it all starts in that planning phase. So figuring out if you want to do the lock screen ads or the search ads, figuring out what your keyword search phrases are going to be using a tool like Publisher Rocket, which is a fantastic way of getting hundreds of keywords in just a couple of seconds, and then monitoring and measuring which keyword phrases and which lock screen targeting options are doing the best for you, and then allocating more budget to those and then less budget to the ones that aren't doing well at all. And really that's the principle of running ads on any platform, and it's especially important with Amazon because the fluctuations in what's working and what's not working can be daily. So you really have to keep an eye on what's working for you and make the necessary changes. And that's what we want to talk about in the workshop that I've got coming up very, very soon. Check the link underneath this video. It's free entry, it's free registration for everyone. I'm going to be teaming up with ads expert Mark Dawson, who uses Amazon ads to drive a ton of traffic to his books, and we're going to go through a lot of this in a ton more detail than I can do out here in the middle of the forest. So make sure you click sign up if that's interesting to you. But for now, we're going to move on to the next part, which is what happens after someone sees your ad. So let's go take a look. So hopefully if you've chosen the right ad and you've got the right targeting, your ad's going to start getting impressions now, hopefully for the right people. Now, an impression is not necessarily when someone, quote, sees your ad. An impression is when your ad is displayed on the screen someone is using, so they might not even see it. But really the impression's job is to get you clicks. So have a think about the reasons why somebody might click something, and you'll get an idea of what kind of thing is going to work. So basically speaking, an impression is an opportunity for somebody to take action on your ad, and the biggest influencer of the impression to the click is the cover, the ad copy, and in some cases the price as well. I mean, if the price is massively wrong, people aren't going to click on it, as long as it's within sort of the realms of expectation. So for indie books, you're like $2.99 to $7.99 is sort of the bracket to be in. As long as you're in that bracket for most fiction anyway, non-fiction is more expensive, then that shouldn't affect your clicks. But the cover is going to be the biggest driver behind clicks, and this is why ads can be so useful, because when you start running them, you can have a look at your baseline data, and if your baseline data is never getting you anywhere close to 0.1% click-through rate, chances are you need a new cover. Now, we've talked about covers in previous videos, namely that a professional image isn't enough by itself. It has to match the expectations of the genre, be eye-catching, and be professional as well. So a nice image isn't necessarily going to cut it, it has to be what people are looking for. But assuming you're getting that 0.1% or above click-through rate, then we know that your ad is doing its job. It's sending people to your book page. But if you're not getting the conversions, then there's probably something wrong with your description. And we've talked about this before with the product description. It's not just a case of retelling the story and the major plot points. It's making people emotionally connected to your book and giving them a reason to buy and to get excited. So again, I'll link these videos underneath this one. This is all very important when it comes to ads as well, because if people don't buy that first book they see, they're not going to buy any others either. And remember, the profit all comes from the read-through. So when it comes to read-through rate, there's a few things you can do to maximize this. The easiest thing is to write in a series, and obviously not everyone does, but it does make life easier. So even if you write standalones, if there's some way of collecting them together, you'll see Neil Gaiman does this a lot, as do a lot of other standalone writers. They will find some way of connecting them all together in a shared universe. This can be fantastic because it encourages people to read through and get more of what it is they just enjoyed, which is incredibly important. Other things you can do, putting links in the back of the book to the next in the series or the next in the catalogue, having a decent website, professional website that's easy to use, easy for people to find what it is you're looking for. It's all things like this, common sense really, but when you apply it all together and you give people a really easy path to get from one book to the next, your read-through rate dramatically improves. So I noticed putting a link in my book one to the next book and telling people to go buy it at the end of the first book led to a significant increase in sales, which in turn led to a significant improvement in ROI on ads. So lots of little things you can do, but it's all about focusing on who you're targeting, what's going to make them click, what's going to make them buy, and then what's going to make them buy more. And again, this is where having a mailing list comes in incredibly handy, because then you have a direct line of communication, and any clicks that you can get from your email list are essentially free. So instead of paying 40, 50, 60 cents for a click with ads, you're getting free clicks for life as long as someone's subscribed, which is incredibly powerful. So if you're running a launch or you're trying to get people from book 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and beyond, having that mailing list is incredibly important. And guess what? With ads, you can run ads to your book, and then people will see your reader magnet. They will sign up for the reader magnet, they're on your list. If you're running Facebook ads, you can send ads straight to your landing page. Get people straight onto your email list. Start telling them about your catalog, about your backlist, and the rest of your series. So incredibly powerful stuff, and it all works together. And what I'm trying to say really is that ads are one important part of a much larger puzzle. And if you can get the traffic generation part right, which is getting people's attention, and then you can follow up to stoke their interest, desire, and then get them to take action, then you're going to be in a very strong position. But it all starts with getting that attention, getting that traffic in the first place. And that's where ads can be incredibly powerful when done properly. Right, it's time to go and find somewhere to wrap all this up. And that's it in a nutshell, really. So everything we talked about today is introducing this concept of the ads funnel, the reader funnel. So everything that happens from the moment your ad gets an impression through to the click and the sale and beyond. So maximizing each step of that journey is going to make a huge difference. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, a little bit of behind the scenes action going on, and in subsequent videos I'm going to be diving deeper into this concept of the ads funnel. So if you'd like to get those videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell underneath my smiling face, and YouTube will send you a little notification when that's ready. And also a quick reminder as well, we're going to be looking at this and a lot of other stuff to do with ads in a lot more detail during the free workshop that I've got lined up for you coming up very, very soon. So if you'd like to get a seat for that, make sure you click the link underneath this video and sign up. But that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll hopefully see you again very, very soon.
She will come back when she's run out of young blood, she hate to see me fall. That's why she